This is Volusia Today, a public information radio program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Dave, you can help me out here?
Good morning.
There you go.
And welcome to Volusia Today.
I have never done a show alone, so I need you to carry me, okay?
Well, I say we just start off, number one, with just, if you're out there on the roadways, slow down, drive safe. If you haven't left yet, leave 20 minutes early. Just take your time and look out for each other. It's pretty nasty out there.
Where were you about 20 minutes ago when I was leaving my house? I could have used that.
I know, right? I hope somebody's listening and just pumps the brakes a little, because it's coming down out there.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Well, good morning, Volusia County. My name is Michael, and you are listening to Volusia Today. We have a couple of very special guests. The first voice you heard was Dave, the return of Dave to the radio show. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And way more important than you, we have Judge Leah Case. Chief Judge Leah Case.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for braving the weather and coming in.
No problem.
And sorry to cut you off.
It's okay.
The most scary man on the planet, Mr. Mark Weinberg. Good morning. How are you?
I'm wearing a tie today.
I know. Well, I was just looking. All three of you look so nice. You know this is radio, right? Well, look at me. I look like I just crawled out of bed. You guys all. We pulled the cameras out of here. Did we have cameras last time you were here?
Yeah.
I think so.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, sorry. We'll send you a memo next time and say, it's Casual Friday.
Y'all are doing the podcast now on YouTube, right?
We are.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We're toying with that. Have you seen Day in the Life?
Yeah, I have. I've been watching the social media. I like everything y'all got going on. You're doing a great job over there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Day in Life is a big deal for us. We send some of our PIOs, which Dave used to be before you guys stole him from me.
We did steal him. We're very happy.
Your PR guy is my old PR guy. So we send a couple of our PIOs out into the field, and we're very fortunate to have access to a pretty big org chart with a lot of responsibilities. And so just yesterday. Oh, where were they, Dave? 2 days ago, they were at the wastewater treatment plant, and they're communication people, writers and stuff. So they don't, they're not necessarily in the field very often. We had to buy boots, and so they've been to the wastewater treatment plant. Yesterday, they were at DeBerry Hall, and I think they dressed up and did, the reenactments and all that stuff. They did the lifeguarding and fire rescue and stuff. So it's a great little series we do. Anyway, enough about us. Thank you guys for coming in. Last time we had you guys on, we talked a lot of court basics. And let me take a step back. I assumed when I said Chief Judge Leah Case, our audience understands you're with the judicial system. So we'll take a step back and say that. And how long have you been a judge?
16 years.
Okay. And Mr. Weinberg, how long have you been with the court system?
Longer than that.
No, fair enough.
A little over 30 years.
A little over 30 years. Here in this, and I forget, with this court system?
Here in the Seventh Circuit, yes.
Okay, wow. That's pretty impressive. Congratulations. So, and you were just reelected Chief Judge?
Yes, I was.
Help me understand that. A little bit of what we talked about last time is, we just talked about it. Fire rescue, everybody kind of knows what they do. The public works, we know what they do. The court system is a little bit of a mystery to a lot of us. And I would suspect at some point we all interact with the court system one way or another, be it a juror or, some kind of case or something like that. But for a lot of us, it's still a mystery. You kind of get in and you have your own experience and get out. So anyway, I'd like to talk a little bit about that today. Tell me, help me understand how you just got reelected Chief Judge. I don't understand that process.
The judges of the Seventh Circuit nominate somebody, and then it's an election, a secret ballot election that Mark Weinberg conducts. And so you're elected by your colleagues, and it's for 2-year terms. So I was elected 2 years ago, and then this July was a re-election for another 2 years.
Okay. So, Judge Case, I work with the county council quite a bit, and you're familiar with our setup. We have a chair.
Yes.
Who is elected countywide, and for a portion of that here in Volusia County, the way that's set up, a little bit of that is ceremonial. Mm-hmm. A little bit of it does come with some authority and the ability to manage the agenda and all that stuff and what gets on, what's considered and stuff. But at the end of the day, his vote is equal to the other 6 votes. So help me understand your system. What does Chief Judge mean for you?
I think that's actually a good analogy because I am nobody's boss
Okay.
I'm not any judge's boss. So sometimes people will email or call and say, this judge did this, I want you to fix it. That's not my role. My role is managerial. So it's I have a responsibility to oversee the courts, to look at dockets, to make sure they're running efficiently. I can move judges. I can reassign cases. I look at security. I look at access to the courts, things of that nature. So it's more managerial.
And so you have to balance all of that with also being a judge.
Yes, but I do have a reduced docket.
Okay.
I have a 50% docket thanks to my colleagues. They have taken on my other 50%, so I have time to do the administrative duties.
Right.
And they're a lot.
So I'm curious because in my mind, that docket, it's just case after case after case after case. And I've been around a little bit the judicial system enough to know, doing this kind of stuff, to know we're always looking at new judges, and you guys are very, very busy calendars and stuff. So what is a 50% load? Is that, how many cases is that a day, a month, a year?
Well, it can fluctuate, but like this week, I've had 150 cases in front of me this week. And
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
Friday morning. So it just depends. And the dockets differ. Like the criminal dockets will be heavier on some days, lighter on some. Civil is kind of a steady number because you're setting hearings most of the days throughout the days, except for jury trial. So it just depends. I can't really give you a good number on that.
Right. Which one's your favorite, civil or criminal?
That's hard to say. Criminal is easier for me because that's my background. I loved civil. I love civil. So I like them both. I like jury trials. You know, I'm a big jury person,
Yeah.
and I hope we're going to talk about that. But that's my passion, is the jury trial. So you do that in civil and criminal.
I sat in on a civil case recently, Volusia County. And it was, and I don't remember what the case was. It was 6 months ago, 8 months ago. And it was very different. It was almost like the judge was arguing with the two attorneys, like as the process was happening. It was very different than a case I've seen before where, you know, the judge listens to everything and then makes a ruling at the end. Mm-hmm. It was an active two-way conversation going on. And he was, you know, he was very blunt with whatever they said at any given point. He called them out every step of the way. It was pretty interesting. So help me understand the difference in that.
And that's more personality driven.
Okay.
So some judges will sit back, listen to arguments, and then just make a decision. Some judges want to have a discussion. They want to challenge each side and say, what about this? What about that? And get their responses. And the judges that do that usually have a background in where they're sitting, so they know the law real well, and they can go back and forth with the lawyers. So they're pushing the lawyers to make sure that they're getting good information back from the lawyers.
Well, and I think a lot of that might have had to do with the type of proceeding that you were looking at. You know, if it's a jury trial, the judge plays less of a role as if it were a bench trial, and if the judge himself, him or herself, are the ones having to make those decisions, they tend to participate more.
Probably listen, but you've got to listen more. I'm sure every judge listens through every case. I understand that, but I mean, that's a whole different level of different burden of responsibility, I would guess, as a judge. So help me understand. You touched on jury trials, and I'd like to talk about that in a minute. But why do you prefer those?
Because I love the process.
Yeah.
And, you know, jury duty is so important. You know, that's my passion. And Dave Hunt has helped me get the message out, and we're trying to go speak to different entities about it. I just had 2 people call and talk to me, or talk to my judicial assistant about their jury duty experience, how they were not looking forward to it at all, and what a great experience it was, that everybody, from the lawyers to the clerks to the bailiffs to the judge, respected their time. It was organized. They were impressed with the process. They felt good about what they did. So the jury process to me is everyday ordinary people, our citizens, coming in and making a decision, a legal decision about justice, you know, whether it's civil or criminal. And it's all different walks of life. They're getting together. They're all listening to information. and then coming to a decision. And that's democracy. I mean, that's the very definition.
You're going to make me cry. You got to stop. I have to. Dave will tell you I cry a lot. I have to tell you, I've been on this planet almost as long as Mark's been with the court system, or maybe 20 years longer. And I have never sat on a jury, and I'm a little bit of a crybaby about it. I got called once, and I think I got cut because I work for the government, if I remember right. It was one time like 20 years ago or something. Never ever received anything ever again. I don't know if I'm on a blacklist, but I can't. I've never got to experience that.
I hope you do. And I have friends that'll call me. Their kids get summons, and they're trying to get out, and they know, don't call me because you're not getting out. And it is. I'm telling you. I have been a trial lawyer for 31 years, or a trial judge, and 95% of the people that sit through a trial they have a good experience at the end. If it's something that's not pleasant, a murder trial or whatever, that nobody wants to really sit through that, they feel good about the process. They felt like they learned something. If it's a civil trial and they're dealing with somebody's business or money, they feel good about the process, because it's so different than what you read or what you see on TV.
I was just thinking, what you see in the movies is they're all sitting. There's hundreds of people sitting around in a room, miserable, waiting to be called. And there's babies crying, and nobody's eaten for days, and it looks like the zombie apocalypse, right?
Well, let me just make a clarification. The jury selection day or days, that's not fun. Okay. Once you get on the jury, then you're doing the work of a juror. That's the great experience. That's the democracy at work.
Have you, as a judge, personally, have you ever, because it's still with the jury trial, the judge plays an important role in facilitating the trial and moving it forward and making sure it's fair and all that stuff. I don't know how you probably describe that differently, but have you ever sat there at the end of the day or driving home and go, oh, that jury just got it wrong?
I cannot think of a time.
That's amazing.
I cannot. It is amazing, because you hear things, and it drives me nuts when I see something written in the media or something about a trial. The jurors are getting all the information that's legally able to be given to them. I have yet to see personally the jury get it wrong. And whether that be find somebody not guilty, and I have a suspicion that the person probably did it, but the evidence wasn't there.
Right.
Or the dividing assets, the money or a business, when you get on the jury, they really take it very seriously. They're given all the information from both sides who are advocating for their side, their particular client, and then they're listening to the judge's instructions. They get written instructions on the law, and if you follow the law, then the outcome is what it should be.
That was beautiful, Dave.
Yeah, beautiful.
Again, that's like the Statue of Liberty and like
it's
apple
all that
pie and stuff, right?
Cue the music.
Baseball. Yeah. Well, cue the music. Let's take a break.
Looking for nonstop action by the beach? The Ocean Center in Daytona Beach delivers. Concerts, sports, expos, and family fun. Just 400 feet from the world's most famous beach. For over 40 years, we've brought the heat with big shows, big memories, and big-time events, all under one iconic roof. The Ocean Center, Daytona Beach's home for live energy, and we're just getting started.
This battery is done. In the trash it goes.
Dad, that's dangerous and not good for the environment. Lithium-ion batteries can get crushed inside a garbage truck, and damaged batteries can start fires.
You're right. Let's dispose of these batteries properly.
This is a friendly reminder from the Volusia County Solid Waste Division. Take rechargeable batteries to the Tomoka landfill or West Volusia Transfer Station for safe disposal. For more information, visit volusia.org/recycle.
Wow, we actually parked on the beach? That was way easier than I thought.
And it's free for residents, property owners, and qualifying students when you register your vehicle online through parkvolusia.org.
No meters? No searching for change?
Just sun, sand, and surf.
I'm going to register my car on parkvolusia.org. This is the way to do beach days.
Park smart, play more. Register your vehicle at parkvolusia.org and make parking the easiest part of your day.
Surf's up.
Let's charge it.
We're back with Volusia Today. We have the Seventh Judicial Circuit Court in the studio with us today. I'm David Hunt, Michael Ryan. We got Chief Judge Leah Case and Mark Weinberg in studio. We left off talking about jury duty. Is there anything else? I know we could talk all day, but is there anything else that we missed? I'll tell you my personal experience. I grew up here locally. We cover multiple counties, right? But Volusia is kind of my home base. So I'm in the courthouse every day, right? And I see some people who are there who are in trouble dealing with something they got going on within the courts. It's not a happy experience. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? It's like, oh, not that great, kind of thing. But then I see also the other side, the people who are serving on jury duty. And that's my friends' moms. That's my kids' friends' parents. That's grandparents. And those are great conversations, and those are great people to see. And I've had the same experiences as you. They talk about how they learn so much, the responsibility of the process. They can't talk, obviously. I say, tell me about jury duty. They're like, we're not allowed to say anything. Kind of thing. There's a lot of rules. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think, I have the same appreciation just from working in the courts for the last 2 years for jury duty. So is there anything else we want to encourage people if they get that summons?
What I encourage you to do is understand that it's a civic duty and just do it. Just do it. And then afterwards, if you have a horrible experience, you call me. Yeah, my office number's on the website.
Circuit7.org.
Exactly. And you call me because I have a feeling I won't get very many calls.
Mark, you got anything to add on to that?
Nothing, no.
So, Michael, as far as not getting a summons, don't feel too bad. It happens.
You put me on a list, didn't you? I'm
you're on. I feel like I'm on a list too.
Well, what that does is speak to the randomness of the process. So our source list, that is, in order to qualify as a juror, you have to either have a driver's license or a state ID. And those are the lists.
That counts you out, Dave.
Well, come on.
So that's the source list from which jurors are drawn, and it really is randomization in that some people get called often, some people never get called.
Oh, no, Mark, I never thought about that. Are you walking through the halls one day, you're like, God, you're back? You're back for your seventh jury?
Well, you can only do it once a year, I believe it is, right? So
okay.
Once you've done your service for a year, you're good for till the next year, possibly.
There's a guy in a closet somewhere with like one of those bingo things, right? And they're just spinning it, pulling out balls that says Dave Hunt.
There was a time when
that's cool.
Were selected, yeah.
But you could still, even if you're not selected for jury duty, because, at the end of the day, you have no control over that, you can still stop by the courts and watch some of these proceedings take place and gain a common understanding. A lot of people don't understand that the courthouse is open to the public. So if you get in contact with us and are interested, we can do the full tour. You can meet a judge. We can roll out the red carpet for you, see the inner workings of the courthouse, or you can just stop by and observe.
Wait, you do behind the scenes tour like Disney?
Yeah, it's close, It's pretty good.
Wants to see the holding cell.
Yeah. The jail or the operations center is definitely the highlight of the tour. But I mean, it's eye-opening. A lot of people haven't had that experience, right? Like a judge comes out and spends 30 minutes, an hour with you explaining the process. It's interactive. We do mock trials as well. So I mean, it's open. It's open to the public. Come on down, even if you haven't been a part of a jury or you're interested.
Do you guys see a lot of that? Like the last, I've got enough of my own problems. I don't need to go sit in a courtroom and listen to other people's problems, no matter what side they're on. Like my life's sad enough as it is. Do you see a lot of people that just come sit in? I get the high profile cases. I understand that, but do people just come watch the cases?
Occasionally. It's not very often. What happens, and Dave's done a really good job with this, is, and I think because he grew up here too, is we're very passionate about bringing kids, students into the court system to see it. So they have exposure to judges, clerks, lawyers, bailiffs, the whole system. Yeah. And we have a mock trial, or sometimes we don't have a mock trial. They just come in and we have speakers come in, the state attorney, different attorneys, the public defender, Mr. Larissa, Mr. Metz, both been in my courtroom speaking. My lawyers that are in front of me every day right now, the criminal, they are fantastic, the ASAs and the PDs. They'll speak to the kids, college students. I've had college students come, people who are teachers that are thinking about going back to law school. One was in my courtroom 2 weeks ago.
Judge Case, when I was, I want to say 13, maybe 14, I jumped on a four-wheeler, drove it down the road, across a major road, into the neighborhood where I think my girlfriend lived, if I remember right. It was a couple of years ago, right? And I got pulled over, and because I had like no license and improper equipment, I was on a 4-wheeler, right? So this is back in the day, out in the country too. So anyway, I had to go sit in court for a summer, if I remember right, and sit through like a certain number of hours and stuff. And it was eye-opening for me as a 14-year-old to see. And I saw a lot of juveniles come through. I may have been in juvenile court, I don't remember. But I got that experience for the first time, and it probably worked at least for a couple of years. Held me off till I was like an adult or something. Talking about being a kid, you mentioned earlier you started off as a lawyer.
Yes.
So young Leah Case sitting around in middle school saying, "I want to grow up and be a lawyer or a judge."
Lawyer.
A lawyer.
Lawyer. It was always a lawyer.
Why?
Prosecutor, to be specific.
Oh, really? Tell me why.
I don't know. I can't tell you why. I had no lawyers in my family. My parents, my dad was a lot older than my mom. Neither one of them went to college. They had good jobs. But so it was a passion that was born just in me. And I love the adversarial process. And by that, I do not mean the non-civil adversarial process. I mean two sides getting together, fighting, figuring things out, fighting civilly, and coming to a fair, just resolution. I am all about that, and I just love it.
Do you argue a lot?
I do.
That's great. That's great. Like as a kid, did you take debate? Like debate club or debate class?
I don't even remember. I mean, I really not in college. I didn't, but in I just argued a lot. I was what's fair? What's fair?
Right.
And we're going to talk about that in collaboration with other agents. What's fair? What can we all agree with? Come on, we can. There is a happy medium here, and it should be fair. My parents would always say, "Life's not fair." I'm like, it needs to be. It should be.
Is it? Can you always find that balance of fairness, or sometimes is it just not there?
I don't. That's a hard question. I think what we do is fair. But I'm all about the law,
right.
Following the law, and there's a fair outcome.
Is it? And this may be too. And I apologize if this is too. Dave probably didn't. Dave gave me generic questions. It's for me at least. It would be hard to sit on the bench and not, at least in the back of my mind, have a personal thought about a case on occasion.
That's a great question, and it is. And here's a good answer for you. When I came on the bench, I'd been a prosecutor my entire life, so everybody's going to assume I have a bias. Okay.
Sure.
And I did not start out in criminal. I went somewhere else. When I got to the criminal docket, it was amazing to me how much I did not care about the outcome of a case. I mean, you as a judge, you have to be impartial, and you really are, because you are looking at are the people getting the evidence in correctly? Are you making legal rulings? And then what happens? That's our system. So do we have a personal belief? Yes. Does it interfere with our decision making? Not at all. We have judges on the bench that are anti-death penalty that have to impose a death penalty.
Right.
There's judges on the bench that I just ruled on something. I didn't agree with the law, and I said, if I were making the law, then it wouldn't be this, but I have to follow this law. So it really doesn't impact our decisions, and it's so hard for ordinary citizens to believe that. But I don't know if it's the training, the legal training, and then by virtue of what we're doing every day, I don't believe that we are affected by our personal decisions. Now, can some judges be that way? Yes.
Sure.
Our judges are fantastic here, and I can talk about them all day.
There's this perception out there that, as you alluded to, Mike, that some people are not going to be happy when they leave the courthouse because they didn't prevail
Sure.
in the case. And while that's true to some point, I think our experience has been that people's perceptions of the court is not really based so much on the outcome, but the process itself. Was I given an opportunity to be heard?
Yes.
Do I think the process was fair? And then, whatever happens, happens. I might win, I might not, but at least the process was fair.
And that's for the majority of people, but there are that segment of people, and when you're reading something or listening to somebody, if they've lost, then they're going to badmouth the judge, they're going to
Sure.
badmouth their attorney, they're going to badmouth everybody. But if you have sat through the process and really have seen firsthand what happened, you wouldn't agree with that person.
Yeah. I lost an argument with my wife this morning. I badmouthed her the entire way here. I don't know that I would be able to separate myself. I just don't know. Like you said, normal people, average people that are not judges, it's hard for me to kind of process that. But more, I want to touch on something you said. Dan, we're going to skip the break. I don't want to stop. I don't know, and I don't think it's intentional, but I don't know that this particular court system gets the credit it deserves for the professionalism of the system itself. And not one particular judge, but just because you truly pride yourself on that. And it's almost a level of customer service that you guys hold yourself to a very high standard on that. And most people, I don't know, that's not necessarily you don't get the credit. People just don't think about that. It's I've got to go to court today, and that's one way or another maybe not fun. Mm-hmm. And so they come out of it with, if we win, we all like to win. And so if we win, it was, hey, it's a great court system. If we didn't, well, that judge was bad, or I sat in that seat too long, or they gave me cold sandwiches, whatever it was. But that's that you guys pride yourself on that, and I don't think you get enough credit for that.
Well, I tell you, one of the things Judge Case does a really good job at, and a lot of the judges give credit to the individuals who work behind the scenes. Judges are the face of the court system, and we all realize that they're. In our circuit, for example, there's approximately 150 people that work in my office that kind of keep the operation running. And
that's a lot of people.
It is. And to give you some idea of the satisfaction that I think and kind of the culture that we built that you touched on, this year, I think we had 2 employees celebrate 30-year anniversaries.
Wow.
We had about a half a dozen with 20 years of service. So I think we have done a good job in building that system in place.
And that's a great point to insert a plug that we are hiring. So we have positions available and open right now. So if you're interested in the courts or want to come down and work with the Seventh Judicial Circuit, we'd love to have you. We're a great team, and it's a great atmosphere to work for sure. That's circuit7.org. All the jobs are right there, so check it out.
The ultimate PR guy. You guys should be very proud. Very proud. When you come crawling, begging for your job back, you've got a space there. I
appreciate it.
And real quick, because we've only got a minute or two left, we're sitting in, obviously, Volusia County now, but how many counties do you guys cover?
4.
4? I was going to say 7. 4?
St. John's, Flagler, Putnam, and Volusia.
Okay. But Volusia's your favorite.
They're all my favorite.
Yeah, very, very well. Very nice, very nice. Volusia's your favorite, Dave.
They're all my favorite, but Volusia is the biggest. I spent a lot of time in Volusia for sure.
Right.
Yeah, but everybody
we have 44 judges spread across those 4 counties, soon to be 46.
Yes.
And it's split into circuit court and county court. 29 circuit judges, 17 county court judges spread among the 4 counties.
Yeah, just the fact that all of that just continually operates and cranks through however many cases you said earlier, Judge Case, is pretty impressive. And without a whole lot of, you don't hear a lot of negativity about the court system as a whole. And that's a big deal. Go look online.
The court system here is, it's soup to nuts. If you have a court case, you're coming to us. From a traffic ticket to a death penalty case.
That's a good point.
The whole gamut.
That's a good point. Dave, we've got about a minute left. Will you, and I said this last time when we wrapped up our show 6 months ago, will you please come back?
Absolutely.
This show goes so fast when you guys are on here.
It does. I have so much to talk about our great circuit.
Okay. You guys have got to dress down next time, though. It's Casual Friday. It's the radio show. Look at Dan. Look at him. He looks like that every Friday. Dave, thank you for bringing him back on.
No problem. And yeah, we do have a lot to share. We do have a lot to get out there. I would encourage people to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Just go to circuit7.org. We got the little icons in the upper right-hand corner. I mean, our judges are out in the community. There's a lot of overlap with the county. We still see y'all, and we do a lot of good stuff out in the community. So follow along. And if you ever want to come on a courthouse tour, same thing, circuit7.org. You can see all our judges. You can hear about their bios. You can hear about what they have going on. Visit our website. That's all I can say to people out there.
Volusia County, have a great weekend and keep an eye on the weather. Thank you for listening.